everybody. Welcome to another episode of Rapid Fire Q&A. I am your host, Scotty Miles, founder of Rapid Fire Q&A and ScottMilesFranchiseCoach.com. Also founder and podcast host of All Things Considered Franchising. AllThingsConsideredFranchising.com. So we also have the talented and my right-hand partner here, Wendi Hill, president and founder of Market Momentum. We're going to answer some questions. I think we got 6 questions today that came through some various channels, websites, social media, pertaining to franchise opportunities, franchising, business ownership. I encourage you to visit theperfectfranchise.com, ScottMilesFranchiseCoach.com, and of course, AllThingsConsideredFranchising.com. Wendi, the rodeo is yours.
Okay, I think this month the questions are a little tough. I'm sorry, I turned all my notifications off. They're still going when it happens. Okay, so get ready. Number 1, what should I expect emotionally and financially during the first 6 months after opening?
Well, first of all, those first 6 months are going to go by like it was one day. I always joke that if you're opening a food concept, you're certainly going to be eating a lot of whatever that food concept serves. So if you're opening a pizza place, be ready to eat a lot of pizza. But emotionally, look, it's an exciting time. It is typically in franchising, we say, as you go through your grand opening ceremonies, it's a very busy time, but it's also it's a very busy time. You're really going to set the platform, the foundation of your business. What you will see after the 6 months is maybe a little gradual decline, or maybe and then a little uptick. People who are, if you're retail, are checking you out. People who are going to be coming back are coming back. But you should expect kind of a very busy time. Managing your staff, maybe promoting people to management, assistant managers. If you're in a service-based business, your first 6 months, you're going to be going out, obviously getting new clients, performing services. Again, may not be as busy as a retail opportunity, because in retail, as we all know, if some new business comes to your town, everybody's always checking you out. I know I always check out a new business, especially if it's a franchise. But in the service-based business, a little bit more of a uphill climb to get to peak performance, testing out, again, staff and so forth. So expect a lot to do, but the brand will help you be prepared for those first 6 months.
Great. It'll be a busy time. Number 2, how do I tell if a franchisor support system is strong or just looks good on paper?
Questions, validation. At The Perfect Franchise, we have our 6-step proprietary analysis on validating a brand. So again, these are questions. I mean, again, it's asking about the marketing. How does the marketing help me get those clients? How does it help me support my clients? And we go down the list from here. And again, the support levels, same questions: technology, operations, marketing. And not only are you going to talk to the brands about that, but you got to get out there and talk to the franchisees that are currently in the system. I always like to coach my clients on saying, hey, look, go out to and ask to speak to someone that's been open for 6 months, and point blank, ask that franchisee, hey, is the brand supporting you the way they promoted they would support you in your due diligence process, in your validation process, as you got to know the brand? That's the best way to find out about it. As you grow into your business and the years go by, it's not uncommon that you're going to require less support, but you really want to know that support is there for the first 12, 18, 24, 36 months as you start building and scaling your business. But you got to ask the questions. You got to ask the validation questions on the support. And again, that's a common mistake that people make when they validate a brand. They think that they only have to validate the numbers, but you've got to validate the support. Is it there? Or was it all a bunch of, hogwash baloney that they presented to you and now you're behind the 8 ball?
Right. Okay. Number 3, what are 2 or 3 questions I should ask that reveal the real culture of the brand when validating?
Culture is important. And I don't know if there are really any specific questions, and again, that's a touchy-feely thing that each client of mine has to really kind of dig in a little bit on their own. What may be important to one person culturally may not be as important to another client. So, and it's funny, I just had this conversation. I was on a brand presentation a few minutes ago with a client. We were talking about, and the client kept bringing up numbers, KPIs, numbers,
Mhm.
numbers. And I said, look, numbers are going to be important, but you have to validate the numbers after you've gotten to know the brand. Because if you don't feel that you fit into the culture or the culture of the brand doesn't fit to you, everything else is irrelevant.
Right.
It's kind of like the people who are always interested in, well, what about if I can't find a location, or where am I going to put my location? Or, you know, you can't worry about the where to's in the beginning. You have to decide that this is what you want to do and then focus in on the where to's. So again, asking the questions about the culture, not only with the brand, but talking to the franchisees is important. Does the brand respond? Do they get back to you in a timely manner? Is the marketing working and helping you bring in clients? Is the operations team available if you're troubleshooting some technology or whatever it may be? So, culture is important, if not as important as numbers, but you got to zero in on that culture and asking those questions in the beginning, not at the end.
It's so important. So here's number
Yep.
4. What's a fair way to evaluate a franchisor's marketing fund, how it's used, and whether franchises actually benefit from it?
Again, it goes to the perfect franchise 6-step analysis. Ask those franchisees. It's also going to be in the FDD. I believe in the numbers, the financials for the previous registration period, or current registration period. The numbers for marketing, what they've collected, how it's been allocated, should be in the FDD. But those are fair questions to ask the brand. Remember, marketing ad fund fees are not there to generate income for the brand. They're there to support the brand, to build the
Okay.
brand, to bring back into the local market. If a brand collects $1 million, it doesn't mean that the $1 million goes to one particular franchisee. It should be illustrated in the FDD and how it's distributed. The other way, the best way to do this is that obviously talk to a franchise attorney when reviewing the FDD to go over the numbers and whatever. But those are fair questions. You certainly don't want to find out that the marketing fees that you're paying are going back into the pockets or an income source for the brand. You want to make sure it's there to build the brand and build your local market.
Okay. Good. Number 5, how can I tell if a franchisor is growing too fast and what that means for new franchisees?
In the FDD, there is every FDD shows the number of units that were sold, also sold not open. We call these snow. We call it the snow information. It's very alarming when you see brands that have sold multiple territories, multiple locations, and they're not operating. To me,
Okay.
that is a red flag and should be a red flag to a potential franchisee. Good franchise operations teams, good franchisors, when they get to a certain point in units sold, will consider pausing their development to help people get opened.
Okay.
Anybody who is over flooding the development side and not getting people open. If I was coaching clients, I tell people that is definitely a red flag.
Okay.
I've worked with a number of brands that had reached a certain point in offering and awarding franchises, and they've paused the development. And that is the smart way to do it if you're a franchisor.
Okay.
But as a franchisee, potential franchisee, if you see that a lot have been sold, but a lot haven't been opened, now they could be part of a development schedule, so we have to read into it a little bit.
Right.
But if those initial units, those first units are still lagging behind, and it's taking years, not months, to get opened or get the territory open, that's a red flag.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now here's number 6, and I know we've talked about this one before. If my spouse or partner isn't fully on board yet, what's the best way to get them comfortable with the idea of ownership?
Well, the best way to get comfortable is to both be involved in the process, the educational process, to learn more. But I coach a lot of clients that are couples, and I have 2 points that I always like to bring out to my clients. If one particular person doesn't want to do it and the other does, I always tell people walk away. It won't work.
Right.
The last thing you want to do is have a business that reflects or puts pressure on a family. So I always believe that both people have to be on board, not only with the idea of opening a business, but the brand itself that you're going to move forward with the business. Again, I believe that if one person doesn't like this particular brand, but the other does, try to find a brand that you're commonly comfortable with. Many couples start out the process where my wife is not going to be involved or my husband's not going to be involved. My
Right.
wife may be involved, may not be involved, or vice versa. You've really got to get this all worked out. There are going to be brands that require a spouse or a partner to be on the calls. Others don't.
Okay.
I tend to, um, I always instruct my clients and coach my clients this way, that if the one spouse has questions but can't be on the call, put those questions on paper and ask those questions for the spouse. But it's really important also that both husband and wife agree on what the responsibilities of each other are going to be if they're doing a joint venture or going to be working on the business together.
Okay.
You want to go in with a business plan, a business role model plan, I call it, on how you're going to operate the business.
That sounds good. All great advice once again. That's it. That's all we have for this month right now.
Well, some great questions. Keep them coming in. Again, reach out. You can email me, Scotty at theperfectfranchise.com. Visit the websites, like I said, scottmilesfranchisecoach.com, theperfectfranchise.com, all things considered franchising.com, all of the normal podcast channels. As I mentioned in our last Q&A, we launched our third season. We're
Yes.
over 100 episodes now. We just posted 2 new conversations with 2 great brands, but we will announce the next rapid fire Q&A as we come up into November. But thanks all for joining and keep the questions coming in. That's about it. Until next time, this is Scott Scotty Miles. Enjoy the day.